Hey, my name is Renmei, and the ability to project and or relate to something is pretty cool, especially if you can do so in fiction. There's always going to be a story in fiction that one can relate to, but a story can never be a story without characters. The relatability of a story may only come full circle when there is a character that you, the viewer and or player, are fond of, and they have experiences, make choices, as well as think and act in a way you can connect with. People are different, and for everyone to project themselves off of a certain character, the character in question has to be unique. Everyone has different tastes, and to appeal to all of them is damn near impossible. Well, maybe the producers of an anime with a blank slate protagonist might disagree. When really, they don't know what they're doing.
Watching haters wonder why can't be no goddamn game, bruh. Half-tied thicky, all she wanna do is bang,
Now, what is a blank slate protagonist? A character that is relatively average and or lacking in most, if not all aspects of their personality for the sole purpose of being someone that the viewer and or player can project themselves onto, thus being a blank slate. So they only exist as a puppet to experience the story, gameplay, and world through, as well as being your one-way ticket to a cast of characters that are genuinely more tolerable. And it's like, why? Okay, look. When it comes to video games, the blank slate MC is handled pretty well for the most part. For starters, they all don't look alike, more on that later, and we, as the player, are free to make whatever decisions we want with the character, if the game has you do that. And in some games, the character is completely customizable. In many ways, this can work in the case of Minecraft, Steve and or Alex being blank slates. They don't have much of a story revolving around them in the game at all, mainly because the story doesn't really count as a story. You gather resources, travel through hell and back to slay some dragon. That that's an objective. An objective that you, as the player, can experience with your own eyes. This actually helps in a way of producing another feeling within the player, the feeling of being able to escape the cruel reality that life has to offer you. Say it with me now, escapism, or the tendency to seek distraction and relief from unpleasant realities, especially by seeking entertainment or engaging in fantasy. With a blank slate MC, we can experience the story through their eyes, as well as feeling as if we, the player, are the heroes. We can do what we want and when we want, as well as when we really need to. While playing as a character with an actual personality can work and be successful, it won't reach the same amounts of traction as Pokemon, Legend of Zelda, or Undertale. Video games are the kings, or queens, or hermaphrodite rulers of this sort of thing. And as for anime, well, it falls flat on its stomach. It comes off as unreasonable and more or less unrelatable. Imagine this: My Hero Academia, Izuku Midoriya, an emotional, nervous wreck with no quirk. He was bullied for this and for his wantingness to be a hero. But regardless of what people thought, he worked hard to one day achieve that goal. Now, that is something you can connect with. Having a dream that you are looked down upon for having, but you're either encouraged to keep going or push yourself regardless of what they say, and you do it. And you prove them wrong. Because you or your loved ones believed in you when no one else would. That message is ultimately beautiful. But nah, you want relatable? How about we have this main character get 100,000 bitches without trying. And also, he leaves all of them on for more than 20 episodes. Picks the tsundere at the end. See? The boring main character, or BMC, does not have any wow factor that makes them a character that people would ultimately care for. And I know that being a likable character is not the purpose of a BMC. If anything, this should make the viewer jealous. He's having his fucking childhood friend, someone with anger issues, their teacher, their sister, not stepsister, the same Pornhub, their bio sister, and gods. Just by breathing. You have literal gods, beings of the center of the universe, wanting to commit the utmost sacrilegious and lustful acts, quote unquote, unquote, with you by breathing. I'm alive. I'm breathing. Where's my handy of heaven? And I know that the people who watch harem anime are probably going to say, shut up, you random 15-year-old Zoomer. We only watch those types of animes for the cute anime girls. Which I can kind of understand, but it's you, somebody with a number of awesome character traits and core personality features or something like that, against a guy with little to no substance or anything interesting about him. And it's like, I get it, it's fiction, but with fiction, there has to be some form of realism in there to make it at least somewhat engaging and understandable. And having a bunch of waifus, all go after this one boring and uninteresting guy just seems really weird, and I can definitely foresee that pissing a lot of people off. And the worst part, they don't actively try to forge a relationship with any of the girls in their little harems. They, more or less, just leave the girls on for more than 20 episodes on the account of them missing every obvious hint that the girls are infatuated with them. Even if someone has average intellect, it's kind of easy to catch on to the fact that a girl likes you, or people of any gender, really. And there are just moments where the BMC can just completely take advantage of said moments, but is either too afraid or chooses not to. But in some scenarios, the BMC is partially a pervert, so what does it matter anyway? Truth be told, not much. But then again, you don't control what the character does in that moment, because you have no control. Just the producers and writers. Remember when I said that in some video games, characters are customizable? Most, if not all, of these character designs for the BMCs are just copy and paste, copy and paste. They all look like the same character with blue, brown, or black hair, but with different clothes and a different art style. And I know that producers are trying to emulate the average Japanese man, but I highly doubt that half of Japan's male population are of doppelgangers. That's stupid and beyond impossible. There is a high level of copying each other's homework at these anime studios, alright? And I know that producers are trying to make an amalgamation of their audience, but why do that if you're not aware of the type of people who are going to watch that show? If they actually manage to pull that off by some weird miracle, then a lot of main characters would be millennials who have YouTube channels, horny degenerates on Twitter, or juveniles who spent most of their time on social media calling other people gay for having a negative opinion about the thing they like. Maybe the problem is that you're watching a character and not playing as them. You simply do not get the same sense of immersion or escapism from watching a character whose thoughts and actions were predetermined by the writing team they were written by. In more ways than one, the writers are the ones who have the escapism in a way. They can make up a whole world of characters, plot lines, and interesting concepts with a single thought. They are in control. The reason why blank slate protagonists in anime will never work for the viewer is because of a lack of control. But with video games, both the creator and player can get the same feeling as they do when creating it and playing it. Absolute control. I don't know how to wrap this up besides keep calm and be neon, and throughout this endeavor, thanks forever.